the next session in Egypt, and we wish that this session, and it is in my closing remarks, my closing speech. Thank you. So, as far as terrorism is concerned, we will condemn all the terrorist acts throughout the world, and in particular in our African nations, and call everybody to endeavor to vanquish terrorism. Is this noted? Okay, any other amendment? You have the floor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is on terrorism. Benin did propose to the President of the Pan-African Parliament to harmonize or to have a harmonized legislation to combat terrorism. So I don't know if we can include this idea. It would be very we will be very happy to have it here in our final communique. Well, any other amendment?
I think terrorism is a very serious issue in our continent. And as long as we are talking about terrorism, I don't know why don't we mention the names of those major organizations, terrorism organizations like Al-Shabaab and Boko Haram. And that's what we exactly do here at Pan-African Parliament. And again, another thing is, we know that terrorism is not a single country nowadays, or in Africa, like it was maybe based in Somalia, like Al-Shabaab, but now it's affecting in our neighboring countries, which is a very serious issue and serious business. I think terrorism is, unless AU properly and address the issue, or unless we properly address the issue, terrorism issue is going to become a very serious issue. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
C'est un moment d'amendement.
Well, we are amending the text. We are not reopening the debate on terrorism. So please, if you have any amendment, please just read it out. We are not, if we are to mention all the terrorist groups, there are others in the DRC as well. So these are amendments on issues that have not been discussed by us. But I think for us it would be good to have a general drafting or formulation that is to condemn the terrorist attacks, and then seeking solutions through harmonization of our legislation in particular. Algeria have the floor. It's not an amendment, Mr. Chairman. It's a recommendation to the President of the Pan-African Parliament and the Bureau. Yesterday, I said that we know the merit of freedom and independence belongs to all the peoples of Africa, but these peoples of Africa had leaders and officials who sacrificed their lives for the independence of our countries. Therefore, I would like to recommend to the President of PAP and the Bureau to envision a note for all Africans to fight against the culture of oblivion. We had heroes in North Africa, in South Africa, in Southern Africa, in Northern Africa, in Eastern, Western Africa, but we have not glorified enough our fathers who have been, and I hope that each parliament glorifies those who have led the struggle for independence, liberty, dignity, and honor of all the African countries. I mentioned yesterday some names. You all know them. So Please, let's fight against the culture of oblivion. Thank you.
Chers collègues, après avoir...
Dear colleagues, after having adopted all the items, we will submit the final communique to the vote. Who are for its adoption? It's by acclamation, I think. No objection. It is adopted. We move on now to the last item of our agenda, that is the closing session by the President of the Pan-African Parliament. Your Excellency, Chairman of the Conference, Excellencies, members of the Bureau, Excellencies, speakers of the regional parliaments, Excellencies, speakers of the National Assemblies and Senates of Africa, honorable members of the Pan-African Parliament, honorable MPs of the Pan-African Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, clerks, distinguished ambassadors, all protocol observed. At a time when this annual conference of Speakers of Parliament is coming to a close, I would like to extend to you the recognition of the Pan-African Parliament and my recognition and gratitude for this perfect, proactive participation and for the fruitful deliberations at this meeting. The presentations and deliberations on the theme proposed, that is, from adoption to ratification of the African Union treaties, in particular, the new protocol of the Pan-African Parliament, what are the advantages for Africa, have been instructive and very enriching. They enlighten you as witnessed by the content of the final communique adopted. Up to date, the opening of the Olympic Games, at this day of the opening of the Olympic Games in Rio, I would like to use a sports language, to tell you, Excellencies, the ball is in your camp, is in your court. As I said in my opening remarks, Africa has lost too much time. So it is high time now to action. Your action should be related to the implementation of the resolutions of this conference, so that in 2017 we adopt new ones according to our theme, and that we as parliamentarians give the image of an Africa in movement towards a flourishing future. I would like to announce to you the holding in Egypt in next October of our next ordinary session, the fourth of the third legislature. During this session, issues of common interest, such as the one presented here by the Vice President of the African Senate, because here we do not know, as Africans, we do not know, we're not aware of the history of our heroes and of our founding fathers. And we will have during this session a session on African Renaissance, because this will be held on one of the oldest African lands. And on this occasion, we will need libraries, as the one that is born by our Vice President, why to tell us about Pan-Africanism. We are called Pan-African Parliament, but no one knows Kwame Nkrumah or has any recollection about him to say that the founding fathers of our independence wanted a unified Africa. No one said that Kwame Nkrumah presided Guinea-Conakry with his brother. So there was a co-presidence. Therefore, this love and this fraternity that is missing today and that we have difficulties to create. We are sad when we know that one brother is sick. We are sick. Every other brother is sick. And at what time we thought that terrorism was affect only some countries, but unfortunately history says no, we are all affected by terrorism. And this is why we had this recommendation in our final communique. I would like, now that you are about to go back home to your families, to say a word to the Republic of South Africa, this hospitable country, this legendary country. Please continue. And you have always been welcomed, warmly welcomed. And you have been witnesses of this soft climate and in which you worked. Therefore, I would like to thank wholeheartedly His Excellency Jacob Zuma, President of the Republic, his government, and the Parliament, who has always been assisting us. We have the Speaker of the Senate here today with us to show us the importance they lend to our Parliament. And to all of you, my dear brothers, and I still say that you are the parents of the Pan-African Parliament. This Parliament will be something only when you decide that it will be something. So, as I said, I will make visits to the SADC countries and plead for the creation of regional parliament for SADC. On this note, I declare closed the proceedings of the